Just like my classroom. All right, so today we're going to introduce this idea of graphics in Java. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the different methods you can use. And I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of how to use them. And then I'm going to show you how to use them in BlueJ. So let's start with the background. When you're doing an actual painting, you need a canvas, right? You need a space where you're going to do your painting or your drawing, right? We call that a canvas here in Java as well. And that's the first thing you're going to create. You can also call it the frame. And basically, it's just going to be a rectangle. Now, you can specify the dimensions, but the one in the lab that we'll be using is 800 by 600. So in Java, so let's say that this particular canvas is 639 to the right and 479 down. What's the unit of measure for these numbers? Does anybody know? Those are the number of pixels. So this is 639 pixels to the right and 479 pixels down. That's the unit of measure that these numbers have. Now, this is a little bit different than math. If you think about your Cartesian plane in math, when you're going to the right, the x's go up. But in what direction do the y's go up? You'd have to go up. In math, in computer science, it's backwards. The y's go up as you go down. So this is 0, 0. That's the origin here. And then it goes up and up like this. So even though you're going down in the y direction, the numbers get bigger as you go down. So it's a little counterintuitive in the y direction. It's just something you need to think about. All right, now we can put whatever we want on this canvas here. First example I have here is just a rectangle. And the rectangle is specified by 4 different things. Oops. The first thing you're specifying is the starting location. So what pixel is this? It looks like the starting point is 10 in the x direction and 50, so in the y direction. So you go to the right 10, down 50. And then you specify the length and width of this rectangle. So this one is 30 pixels wide and looks like 70 pixels down. All right, I'll show you this method again in just a second here. Now, the way that you call this method is, I need to hide that, based on the object. Now, your object, we've been using objects, we've been instantiating objects. The object that you're calling here is your window. So this canvas, that's your object. So you're always going to say window dot something. In this case, we're going to fill this rectangle with the color blue. It's going to start at 1050. It's going to be 30 to the right, 70 long. We can also make circles. Now, we don't have a call method for circles. We only have ovals. The way you define circles isn't the same way that you define circles in math. So in math, you would just say the radius is. Don't think about circles that way. We want to think about how tall it is and how wide it is. Okay, so this particular circle is 100 pixels tall and 100 pixels wide. So we don't care about the radius. We care about the diameter. The diameter in the y direction and the diameter in the x direction. That's how we're going to define them. So if the x and the y are the same, if the width and the height are same, they're both 50 in this case, then it's a circle because they're the same. It's like the width and the height are the same. Now, the reason we're going to say it's oval, so if the height was like 100 and the width is 50, that would stretch it out in the y direction. So it'd be like an oval. It'd be like longer on the top. But if the width was higher, like it was 100, 50 instead, it'd be longer in the x direction. So we don't have any ovals. We don't have any circles. We only have ovals. Just happens to be a circle when the width and the height are the same. Now, the first thing you're going to do before you make any picture, any shape, anything, you need to specify the color. And the way we're going to do that is with the method setColor, which is a void method. And setColor, what you'll do is say window.setColor, and then in parentheses, the parameter is color dot, and then whatever color you want. There's a limited number of colors you can choose from. I can show you the list of that in a little bit here. But the color is always going to be in caps. So in this case, capital RED for red. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to specify the color and then specify the shape. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different methods here. We're going to talk about, I think, 6 or 7 of them. First two you need to be aware of are lines and rectangles. So draw a line. We'll give you a point starting at A, comma B, and going to the point C, comma D. So you're specifying XY and another XY, and you're just connecting a straight line between them. That's how you're going to draw a straight line in Java. So you don't specify the length. You just say start it at this point, go to this other point, draw a straight line between them. What do you suppose the difference is between draw rectangle and fill rectangle? Any guesses?
Will draw just have an outline?
Just the outline. Draw rectangle will give you just the outline of the rectangle. Fill rectangle would actually fill it with whatever color you specify. So depending on what you're trying to do, maybe you just want the outline of a rectangle, or maybe you want to fill the whole thing in. Different commands for that. And it's just some examples. Like we've got red, we've got orange, we've got blue, and you can see some of them are filled in. This one's gray, the outline is gray, but it's a draw rectangle, so it's just the outside. The next one is red, but it's fill rectangle, so the whole thing is red. Yeah, Jay.
Can you like fill it a different color than like the draw? Like that? Can you like? Okay, so that draw one is blue. Like,
yes.
Can you fill it red?
Yes, but you would have to specify another rectangle inside of it. So you would do the draw one, and then make one that's like slightly, like very, like 1 pixel difference than the inside. And then you would have the outside, and then the inside rectangle would be the colored one. So yes, you can do that, but it's actually 2 rectangles. It would just appear to be the same one. Okay, some other ones that you need to be aware of are string. Draw string is if you want to get some text on there. So we've got somebody who has a birthday today, and so maybe she wants to write, hey, it's my birthday, and you can do that using the drawstring. What you do, S stands for the thing you want to write, the message, and then the X and the Y is where you want to write that message. So if you want to put any text on there, so we're going to do smiley faces. So if you want to give them a tattoo that says his name across the forehead, you would do that with drawstring. Or I guess neck tattoos are the thing that are in right now. Give them a neck tattoo. The other one you need to do is draw oval and fill oval. So like I said, there were no circles. We're only dealing with ovals. But if you just want the outline of a circle or the outline of an oval, you'll do draw oval. If you want the whole thing filled in, you'll do fill oval. So these are some examples of that. And you can see some of them are circular, like the red one is circular because it's 50 tall and 50 wide. Some of them are more oblong, like this one, the draw oval that's green. You can see it's 100 pixels long and 50 pixels high, and that's why it's wider in the X direction. So anytime the last 2 numbers are the same, like 80-80, 50-50, 50-50, 40-40, that's going to give you a circle. But anytime that those numbers are different, it'll make it a little bit more oblong. I think we got one more we need to talk about, and that's an arc. Yes, Leo, what's up?
Did you say it's for random color?
Maybe. Yes. And we can talk about how to do that individually. And there's a way we could do that, yes. We would have to just what we would do is we would make a list of colors, and we would just have Java randomly pick one from the list. But there's definitely a way you could do that, yes. All right, the last 2 I want to talk about are draw arc and fill arc. What's an arc? How would you define that shape? Like a rainbow, like a semicircle? Yes. Like I always think of the McDonald's arches. Right. Now, arcs are kind of difficult because they take 6 parameters.
What?
6 parameters. You have to specify first the starting spot. So the X, Y, where do you want the arc to start? How long and how high it is. And then the angles. So we need to talk about angles for a second here. All right. And how am I going to do this on here? Oh, well, they just won't see it in the video. So if you think about in math, if you think about an XY axis right here, to the right on the XY axis, that's 0 degrees. Now, that's the beginning of quadrant 1. If you go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2, how many degrees is that?
90.
That's 90 degrees. And if I go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 3, how many degrees is that?
180.
So that's 180 degrees there. If I go from quadrant 1 all the way to quadrant 4, how many degrees is that? 270 degrees. And if I go all the way around the circle from quadrant 1 all the way back to quadrant 1, how many degrees is that? 360 degrees is the same as 0 degrees. Now keep in mind, when you're moving in degrees, that's counterclockwise. So what if I wanted to go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 3 the other way? How would I make it go clockwise? If going this way is 180 degrees, how can I go clockwise?
Negative 180.
Negative 180 degrees, and that's what's a little bit tricky about the arc. So what we're about to do is make a smiley face, right? If I do from 0 to 180, it's going to be frowning. But if I do 0 to negative 180, it's going to be smiling. So you just got to decide how happy you want your face to be. If you're looking frowny, 0 to 180, you're feeling happy, 0 to negative 180. And that probably didn't come across on the video at all, so I forgive anybody, or forgive me, anyone who's watching. You'll see it in a second when I draw the smiley face. Okay, I think that's all that. Yes, Nicholas.
Is there any way you can make it less dramatically?
Less more? What?
Less.
Yeah. So what you would have to do is you would want to specify like. So we get to specify how long it is and how high it is. So if you wanted to make it like hardly any curve at all, you would just make it really long and not very high. And it would just be like a really subtle curve to it. So it's just, you would just want to extend the length of it. And that's the third parameter. And these are just an example of some of the arcs that you could draw. So this one goes from 0 to 2, this fourth one here, the red one, goes from 0 to 270 degrees. You can see it goes 3/4 away around the circle. This one goes from 0 to negative 180 because it starts here at the beginning and it goes clockwise at negative 180 degrees. This one starts at, bless you. This one's interesting. It says 90. Oops. What did I do? I'm trying to figure out what this angle is because it says 90, 90. Oh, because it starts at 90 degrees and then it goes 90 degrees. Okay, so it's going from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. So you're specifying how far you want it to go. And this one starts at 180 degrees. Oh my gosh. This thing is a touch screen. Starts at 180 degrees and then it goes negative 180 degrees, so it goes backwards. Yes?
What would you use to make a triangle?
That's a method called draw polygon. And I can show you that when we're making the smiley face in a second here. And you use draw polygon to draw any polygon, not just a triangle. But I can show you that in just a second here if you'd like. That's not actually in the presentation, but that's a good question. We can do that. Okay, so I'm going to show you the runner file in a second here, but suffice it to say, you're not going to touch the runner file. Some of the stuff is beyond what I've taught you. Like the word extends, we're not talking about that word extends until second semester. Suffice it to say, you're going to need to use this runner file, but you're not going to need to touch it, and you're probably not going to understand what's going on in there, and that's okay. I'm just giving you the tools to make yourself a picture right now. I'm not necessarily expecting you to understand everything that's going on. So there's a runner file. I'll show it to you in a second here with a constructor, and you're just going to, all you need to do is in the runner file is specify what kind of object you're going to make, and we're going to be making smiley faces. There's a paint method that actually paints the screen. It gets run when you create the object, so it's going to run one time. There's actually a method that's hidden in there that's not in the starter code I'm about to show you. But if you wanted to like paint it again for some reason, there's one that's called repaint. I don't think you're going to be using it today, but I just want you to be aware of it. Okay, so let's do it. Let's make a smiley face. And y'all are going to help me. Well, hold on. Don't go to the computers yet. I want to make one together first. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to, this is exactly what you're going to do. We're going to folder for Schoology today. I hope I don't have any loyal YouTube viewers who are actually like watching my videos trying to learn something. Like, what is this? This is somebody's class? Yes. Welcome to my third period Schoology. All right, so we got some instructions in here, but all I really need you to do is download the starter code when you get in here. And remember, when you download the starter code, that I want you to extract it a very specific place. Where do I want you to extract your starter code? Yeah, make sure it's going into your H drive. I have a specific file for this class, period 3, just to make sure that you can get it later. Put it in your C drive, it might end up in the wrong, you might not be able to access it later. Okay, so we're going to download it, and I'm just going to show you what's going on here. Okay, so like I said, in the runner class, really nothing you need to do. It is going to include all kinds of interruptions. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, you're here.
Oh.
Hey, we I'm gonna edit this all out of the video later. You're not recording?
Oh, okay, even better.
I'm not gonna edit it. This is a one take. All right, so hey, in the runner file here, the only thing you need to know is that we're specifying the width and the height of this canvas. It's going to be 800 pixels by 600 pixels. Don't really need to do anything here. You can basically ignore it. You can open it to look at it. Don't type anything in here. You're going to break the whole file, okay? But this is what you'll need to, if like you're at home and you're trying to make pictures on your own, you got to have this runner file to be able to run it, okay? Now, there's some imports in here that you need. This is not base Java. So anytime that you're trying to use the canvas to draw shapes, 3 import statements you need. java.awt.graphics, java.awt.color, and java.awt.canvas. Those are the ones you need to be able to run the graphics package. Not part of base Java, so you got to have those 3 import statements in order to make this all work. Just in case you're trying to do it on your own. All right, so what are we making? We're making a smiley face. And right here in the constructor, what's the size of my canvas? How many pixels by how many pixels? 800 by 6. What's the background? Okay. I set visible as true. I'm going to be able to see it. So I'm going to make a smiley face here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use drawString, which is going to have a string at the point 35, 35. What's it going to say at the point 35, comma 35? And what color is the text going to be? Blue. Okay. What color is, it's an oval that's 400 by 400. What do we call an oval that has the same width and height? Circle. What color is that circle? Yellow. Okay, so I just want, this should work. So I just want to run it, void main. When you download the starter code, this is what you're going to see.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, so you got smiley face up. What part of the smiley face is this?
A circle.
The head, the face. Does yours have to be yellow?
Yes.
No. Does your background have to be white? No.
Yeah.
Can it be? Yeah. But the whole point of today is, I've been telling you for the last few weeks exactly what you got to do. Today's all about you. So if you don't want it to be yellow, change the color. You don't want the right background to be white, change the color. All right, so when I'm grading you, I'm looking for 3 things. Eyes, nose, mouth. You can add more, but if you got those 3 things, you're going to get 100. Okay, so it's your smiley face. You can add whatever you want. But let's add some eyes here. What color should our eyes be? Green or black? Pick one. Black like, okay, you win. Black like ourselves. We're going to have black eyes. Let me just put some note. I like to put some comments in here. So this, we decided that this was the face, and now we're going to make the eyes. So we're going to do window.setColor, and we want to do color dot like our souls, and then window dot what shape should our eyes be? Circular, sure. So let's do fill oval. And so this is the part where you're going to kind of have to guess and check. You got to think about where you want the eyes. So if you think about the circle, it's 800 by 600. Probably eyes maybe like a quarter of the way. What's like a quarter of 800? 200. So maybe I want to put that first eye somewhere between like 200 and 300. So I'm just going to put it right around 200, right about a quarter of the way. And so it's going to go down by 600. Think about the face. So from 0 to 600, where approximately do you think that eye should be? Well, that would be really, really low because it goes 0 to 600. So maybe like 100. I'm going to put it at 100. Now, we want it to be a circle, right? So, or maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be a circle, but if it's a circle, maybe we do like 40-40. Now, this is just guess and check. That as long as it's in approximately the right place and it looks approximately right, you're going to get credit for it. So let's just look at it and say, okay, does that kind of look like the place where an eye should be?
No.
Yes.
It's a really big nose, actually. It's not a face.
Yes.
What? Where do we need to move that eye to get it in the right place?
Down.
Right and down, right?
Right.
Okay, down and right. So instead of 200, maybe put it at 275, 3. Instead of 100, maybe I was thinking like 200. Yeah. We can always change it later. All right, does that look approximately right? Is that could an eye go right there?
Better than it was.
Better. It's an eye. Now, when you think about the eye, we want it to line up. So which value should be the same, the x or the y? The y should be the same, and the x should be over maybe 100, 200. What do you think?
Well, you just do 600 minus 275.
So what would that be?
$325.
Well, it goes to the right 800, so 800 minus 270. Let's look at it. Let's see if it looks right. Now notice, since I didn't change the color, I don't want to change the color. I want them both to be black. I didn't have to put another color statement.
It says Indo.
It says Indo.
Yeah, it says Indo.
Huh?
Indo, not
Indo.
window.
Not Indo.
At the beginning of it.
Oh, I missed the W. I'm like, Indo. What is that? I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about.
Indigo.
Okay, so what do you think?
He's staring at the
He's got a he's got a little bit of a lazy eye, but it's in approximately the right spot, so we're gonna call it good. Hey, what shape should our nose be?
Triangle.
Let's not do because that's gonna turn this into a 45-minute.
Hexagon. Star. I saw something triangle.
Let's make it another oval, folks.
String.
Keep it easy.
Do you have to like set the angles for all the triangles too?
Okay, we can do triangle. Let's do it at the end though.
Okay.
Let's do the easy stuff first, all right? Yeah. Oh, wait, yes. It's going to layer based on the order you do it. So whatever you do first is the bottom layer. Good question. All right, so I'm going to do a different color for the nose. Let's do magenta. Yes. There's a limited list. I think there's a list of like 20 that we can choose from. I can show you the list.
Yeah, can you do a? I was thinking if you do custom. Can you do code?
The answer is yes. That's outside the scope of what we're doing.
No, we'll do it tomorrow.
Okay, we don't want to set color. We want to do fill. And these are things you could research for yours, okay? But I kind of want to get us going because I know you're excited. I want you to do it. All right, hey, so we want the nose to be between the eyes, right? If the eyes are at 275 and 575, where approximately should the nose be? What's halfway approximately between 275 and 575 and 525? Give me a number between 275 and 525. 425. Let's try it. Okay, and so if the eyes are at 220, we want it to be lower. So pick a number. 300 would take it lower. All right, so let's try 300. And I don't want this to be a perfect circle. I want the nose to maybe be a little bit longer. So
47.
I was thinking like 60, 40. I don't want it to be terrible. Uh-oh, what did I forget? Everything. I forgot how many questions. I don't know why I keep recording these videos in this class.
Oh my god.
Look at your mouth.
It was so confused. It was so confused.
Is it approximately the right spot or should we move it?
Yeah, good
No,
enough.
it's perfect. It's perfect.
Go mouth. Go mouth.
Well, hey, maybe he's looking off to the left. What do I know?
He's a duck.
Look at your mouth now.
He got his degree.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a duck.
You're an artist. Like on your side.
Oh, you know what I could do?
Look, make it black, then do red. and
No,
then
no,
make
this is
it
good.
it looks like it's clouded.
I'm gonna turn it into a pig. This is about to be a pig now. Look at that pig.
What?
Yeah.
Like a bow tie. I'm scared. Oh my gosh, she's so fancy.
It looks like a mustache.
Oh yeah, mustache.
It's a nose.
Yeah, I like it.
This is up for public opinion.
The last thing we need. The last thing we need is a mouth. What color do we want our mouth to be?
Black.
It's gray mouth. Let's make it gray. How do you spell gray? Is it G?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
the most controversial.
I think it's. Yeah, that's right. All right, so mouth is this shape. What's the word for this shape? Arc. So let's do window. Do I want to draw an arc or do you want to like kind of fill it in too? Fill arc. What do you think?
I don't think it likes
Draw art. Draw dark art.
Draw arc. Okay, and so this is the weird one because it takes 6 inputs here. So we got to specify the starting spot. So like, I'm just going to put it kind of low here. 310, 350. Then we have to specify how long it is. I want it to be more long than it is high. So I'll do like 260. And then we have to specify the angle. So if we started at 0 degrees and we want it to be a smiley face, then it would have to be 0 to 180.
75.
If I did 0 to 180, it's going to be a frowny face.
A negative one.
Negative 180. All right, let's see how my piggy looks now.
Pretty scared.
Okay,
Doesn't like UI.
solve that.
Yeah. Suck it, you're up.
That's on video. I'm not going to. Hey, look at that.
He's got a chin.
All right, all right.
I'm
That's.
terrified. I like it.
Here's that second.
Can you change the thickness of the line on it? It's Kevin Page's cousin.
Let's do fill arc, and yeah, let's get rid of that first nose piece. That was bad.
That was beautiful. It was perfect. I think you just removed.
Yeah,
Go to the second one.
No,
Yeah, second one.
this is going to be better.
Well,
Hey.
I don't. That's kind of scary.
As I said before, he's coming for your soul.
Worse than the kid.
Hopefully, your smiley face is less terrifying than mine. All right, so what do you think? Should we go for the extra credit and I show you how to do triangles, or do you want to get started on
Yes.
this?
I have a question.
Yes,
So,
Lucas.
if you just like draw art, is there a way you can change the thickness of the line?
No, I don't. Not to my knowledge. I mean, there might be a way. There's not a way that I'm aware of.
You know, it just turned down the resolution. It won't look good.
So, what if you wanted to make it bold? You could do like multiple arcs on top of each other. I think would do it.
Yeah, it's very repetitive.
All right, so hey, this video is like too long, so I'm gonna like stop recording and I'm gonna ask you to get signed in. While you're getting signed in, I'm gonna show you how to do the triangle. Okay? Bye. Thanks for.